Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Callie's Kingdom. I'm Callie, and today we're going to do an exciting video. We're going to do a birthday book haul. Now to be fair, not all of these books are from my birthday, but I got some of them from my birthday, so we're just going to call it that. And I have 15 books to show you guys today, so let's get into it. So the first book is kind of like a happy accident almost, but it felt like it was like a gift from like the world to me on my birthday. That probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but when I was growing up, my favorite book was Ella Enchanted for like a lot of elementary school. My teacher read it to my class in 2nd grade, and that was one of the times that I first fell in love with fantasy. I read a lot of the Magic Treehouse books that year too because my teacher had them, and 2nd grade was like a big reading year for me because before that I was reading like picture books and everything, and now I was getting into chapter books and I was getting into fantasy. And at the end of each day, my teacher would call us on to the mat and she'd read us a chapter from the book Ella Enchanted, and I loved Ella Enchanted so much. For like 2nd and 3rd grade, it was like my favorite book ever, and it really got me into reading fantasy. So I never had a copy of my own since I had my teacher read it to me, and then I think I read it again in 3rd grade from the library, but I never had my own copy. So then, when I went to a park nearby to read, I looked at their little library, and look what they had, a copy of Ella Enchanted, and this was the day before my 18th birthday. So the book that really got me into reading fantasy and everything, there it was, the day before my 18th birthday when I was no longer technically a child anymore, and I felt like it lined up so perfectly. So although I'm probably not going to read it anytime soon, maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a vlog or something of reading books from my childhood that I loved or something, and maybe I'll read it in there. But even if I don't read it anytime soon, it just feels so special to have a copy of this book and then one day be able to pass it down to my future kids, hopefully. So here's Ella Enchanted. It's a pretty old book. Like, the pages are all yellowed compared to the books I have now, but it's just so special, and I'm so glad to have this as part of my collection forever. Okay, wow. That was a very sentimental way to start out the video. But next, my best friend was unhauling some of her books, so she asked me if I wanted to take any or if I wanted to read any. So there was this series that I read. We both read them together, more like, I think 9th or 10th grade. I only read the first 2 books though, and she had the whole series. And they're kind of like a little young for her right now. She's probably not going to reread them or finish the series or anything, so she was getting rid of them. But I remember really enjoying the series, and I think they were easy reads, so sometime I might read them, so I just decided to pick them up from her. So it is called, which one was the first book? I think it was Undercover Princess? Maybe it was The Lost Princess. I think it might have been The Lost Princess, and then Princess and... I don't know the order of these books, but here are the first 3, and they're The Lost Princess, Princess in Practice, Undercover Princess by Connie Glynn. So it's basically about a girl who, she didn't know she was a princess. I can't even remember. No. She got like a lottery to go to the school where like a bunch of princesses and like royalty like go, and then she like went there and she met like a girl who was like an undercover princess. I don't entirely remember everything, but yeah. So here were the first 3 books, and then she also got 2 more books. I also don't know the order of these. Oh wait, on the back I think it says the order. I think it's Undercover Princess, Princess in Practice, and then The Lost Princess. Okay. And then this one, Princess at Heart, which this is such a pretty cover. I love it. And then Princess Ever After, which is also so pretty. So yeah, I have these 5 books. Not sure if I'm going to ultimately keep them, but I have them for now, and we'll see if I end up reading them. And then I got another book from her, which I read, They Both Die at the End, and then she also got the first to die at the end, and she didn't really want to read it, or she wasn't really feeling called to read it, so I picked it up because I enjoyed They Both Die at the End, and we'll see if this book is good too. I like the part in here with like the smoke almost, like that's cool, but there's nothing on the front, sadly. I feel like if you have a hardcover, you should have something cool on the front. Like, don't just make it all boring and like just that color. But anyway, so those were the books that I got from her. And then the day before my birthday when I got this book, I also went to Target and I had a Target gift card. So I felt like I had to complete the Summer I Turned Pretty series, and I got We'll Always Have Summer, which is very pretty, but I have something to say about this. So these are the first two books I have. You see they kind of line up perfectly, but I think that the top is cut off, and that's probably where the problem is happening. But let me show you. It's taller. It's literally like, I don't know if you can see, but look, sitting on the shelf, they're not all the same size. And that bothers me. But that was kind of a birthday gift to myself there. It doesn't bother me too much, but it's kind of annoying. I'm like, why? And then for my birthday, I got 4 books from my family, which is so nice. Thank you, Mom and Dad. The first book I'm reading right now, and it's called Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I read another book by her, which I absolutely loved last year, called The House of Salt and Sorrows. She writes very, like, dark, like, horror elements, but there has a happy ending, which I really like, because I don't like reading horror normally because there's not a happy ending. I think that's kind of like why I like thrillers. I like the creepy aspect, but then normally there's like a resolution at the end. It's not just like, oh wow, the evil entity won. So in A House of Salt and Sorrows, it was dark fantasy, so it was like fantasy with like these horror elements, which I thought was so cool. It was so atmospheric and like creepy, and I loved it. And I rated it 5 stars last year. So I won in her other book, Small Favors, which everything about this, like if you say the genres, you wouldn't think I like it. Like historical fiction and horror. Like, that does not sound like me, but I love this. I love this so much. I am like, this amount, I only have this amount to go, and it is so good. I was not, like, I didn't know that it was more historical fiction. I thought it was fantasy again, but then I started reading it. I was like, oh, it's historical fiction. But then it kept getting better and better, and it was so good. And I really like this. And I think it's really cool because the main character is like a bee farmer. So it's like has elements of that in there. And I can't wait to see how it ends. So I think every time, because I gave my dad like a list of books and then he chose like a couple from them to get to me, which was really nice. But every time I saw like part of the cover, I was like, oh, I know what this is. And then I started getting so excited. So the other book I got, one of the other books, was 100 Days of Sunlight by Abby Emmons. Let's just take a moment for this cover because it is so pretty, and this author designed it herself. I also like the little elements back there and everything. So this is also another genre that I wouldn't really be going towards, but I feel like I've been branching out of my comfort zone and finding books in different genres that I love recently, which is very exciting. So this is... it's like a contemporary, but also a romance, I think. This girl, she goes blind for like 100 days. And I'm so excited to read this. I think it's a dual POV with a girl named Tessa and a boy named Weston. So, I follow Abby Emmons on YouTube, and I love her YouTube channel. She gives a lot of great advice to authors. So I'm so excited to finally read one of her books. One of my best friends read it and said it was really, really good. So, I hope that I can read it and then see how good it is too. And I also want to read the other book that Abby Emmons is coming out with this September called The Other World. It looks so good, and the cover is absolutely stunning. This cover is stunning too. How does she have this many good covers? Anyway, I'm excited to read this. I feel like hopefully I can read this before summer ends, but I have a lot of books I want to read before summer ends, so I don't know. It just feels like a summery August book. And then I have Once Upon a Broken Heart. I read the Caraval series, and it was so good. I think I rated that series like 4.5 stars. One of them was 4 stars. I don't know which one. But overall, it was a really good series. It like wasn't one of my top series, but I really like it. And the more I think about it, the more I like that series. So I think the series as a whole is like 4.5 stars. And I've heard that Once Upon a Broken Heart series is even better. So I'm excited to read it. It takes place in the same world, and it has one of the characters from like the second and third book, Jax. He's in this, and I think it's like a fantasy romance. So again, wow, I'm branching out. Romance. I read a romance the other day, like a young adult like romance, and I loved it, and now I feel like I'm getting a little bit more into romance, so I'm excited to read this too. Also, it's like I like how this side looks, and it's so interesting, like from how it kind of ties into there. The other cover that Once Upon a Broken Heart has too is so pretty. Like, they're both so pretty. I don't know what these swirls are supposed to be, but they're very, very pretty. So, hopefully I really like this, and then I can get the other 2 books in this series as well sometime. And then I have a book that I'm excited to read because it's my best friend's favorite series, and it's 1,000 Pieces of You. This is also a stunning cover. Oh my gosh, like, look at it. It's so pretty. I've heard that it's like sci-fi, but also a little bit like kind of fantasy, like historical elements. Like, I don't know about the fantasy part, but I know that there's some historical elements, and then there's also romance. And I am excited to read it. I think the main character, she's the daughter of like a physicist or something, but there's like parallel dimensions and universes, and like, but there's a romance going on throughout it all the time, and it's like a trilogy, and I'm really excited to read it because my best friend, has also been starting to read one of my favorite trilogies of all time, the Renegades trilogy up there, and she has absolutely loved it, and it's been so fun to talk to her about it. So I am excited to read this and then talk to her about this series because hopefully I love it so much. I mean, I don't see how I won't, but so these are the 4 books I got from my parents, and I'm so grateful. I'm excited to read or keep reading all of these. And then at my birthday party, one of my friends got me a book, and it's the Atlas 6, and this cover is so pretty. I've heard a lot about this. It sounds really interesting to me. I think it's another like adult fantasy, so I'll be interested to see again how this differs from young adult fantasy. But this one is really pretty because look, it has something on the cover. See, this is what I want in hardcovers. It's so pretty. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about the author Olivia Blake, so I will be excited to see how I like this, but I've heard that there's a lot of point of views, and I love getting multiple point of views. Even in my own books that I write, I always like putting in multiple point of views. So, not to say that, if a book doesn't have multiple point of views, because most books don't, and I still love them, but a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like the multiple point of views, but I don't think that will be a point of contention for me. So I'm excited to read this as well, and the cover is so pretty. So thank you. And then today, I had a little bit left on my gift card from 2 of my friends from my graduation for Target. So I decided to go to Target, and I got What Happens After Midnight, which is a young adult romance, which I read this author's other young adult romance called The Summer of Broken Rules, and it was literally so good. I've never loved a romance more. It was so fun because there's the assassin game, and this one there's like a senior prank that has to be pulled off. And it sounds so good because like that sounds so intriguing and so fun. And then also there's a romance too, and I think that's why I like these romances, because it's not all focused on the romance, and then like the third act, instead of like the third act breakup is like miscommunication, it's like, no, it has something to do with the assassin game, or probably something to do with like the senior prank or something, and it's actually so interesting, and I can't wait to read this. And I saw it as a sign when I went to Target, and there was only 1 copy of this left there, and I was like, this copy is for me, I know it is. And the other one, The Summer of Broken Rules, I rated it a 4.5, but like now I'm thinking maybe like 4.75 because it was so close to a 5-star, maybe 5-star. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that was so good. So I don't know. And then the last book I went to Goodwill, and I saw this book, Uprooted. It's like, it looks so like old fantasy, you know, like fairy tale, like the cover, and it is by Naomi Novik. I heard another booktuber, the Book Leo, she was talking about it and how she loved this book a lot, and she thought it was really good. I just remember hearing her say that, so I saw it there, and it was like $4, and I was like, why not? Because apparently originally it's $16, it says that on the back, which I don't know who would pay $16 for this cover. Like, not this cover, I'm not like, wow, this cover is bad. I'm like paperback cover. Like a hardcover, okay, but I don't know. But I have this now, and it is pretty. I like it. I don't like it as much as some of the other covers that I said, but I still think it's a pretty cool cover. So yeah, here, let me gather up all the books I got, because there are so many. Oh my gosh, There really are so many. Wow, these aren't even all of them. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can get them all up. Okay, I'm going to try my best. Wow. Okay, thank you for watching this video and seeing all the books that I got in the past, like, month or so. Since the last time I did a book haul. I don't know when. When did I get the books from my friend? I don't know. But in the past little bit of time, I've accumulated a lot of books. And yeah, I'm really excited to read all of them. So also stay tuned if you want to hear my thoughts about some of these books, because I bet I will be reading them before August. The end of August. Oh my gosh. That video will probably be filmed in my dorm room at college, which is crazy. That'll be kind of awkward being like, hey, roomie, I have to film a YouTube video. Hopefully that's not awkward. Hopefully I can continue doing this too. So yeah, stay tuned for more videos, because the next video is also about my current book project that I'm writing, and I've been having so much fun with that. So I'll see you guys next time. Oh wait, I was going to say, comment down an emoji. What emoji? Comment down like a flamingo. I don't know. Is there a flamingo emoji? I don't know. If you've watched to this point, comment a flamingo if you can, or anything close to that. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!